Let's see what happens. I guess we're live. We are live, guys. Hello.
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 Hello. All right. So welcome to the very first ever live show of the ABC Readalong. Oh, I can hear myself.
Yeah, you have it open on other screen. If you mute it.
How do
Turn
I
your
mute
volume
them?
down.
No, like you.
No,
go,
just turn yours down.
Just turn mine down.
No. Do you have it also open on YouTube?
No.
You don't?
Nope.
Oh, I thought that's what you were talking about.
Yeah, then I don't know why there's an echo. Because I don't
hear it anymore.
Yeah, I don't hear it anymore. Because that can happen. Like when I host, I always have it open on YouTube as well, in case there's a glitch in the chat. And
I didn't even realize
you have to have it muted. You don't have to. That's just me. But if you don't mute it, then you'll hear an echo of it. And Stacy, hello, Stacy.
Hey.
Hello.
Yeah, but I don't hear it now. It must have just been a blip of it.
Yeah, it must have been a blip.
So.
All right. Okay, so we are okay. Yeah, it is showing up on YouTube. So I just want to make sure that was thing. So okay. Oh, hello, everybody. Hello. So welcome to the first live show for the ABC Read Along. This is a read along if you're not familiar and you're just coming on for the first time. That I thought it really fun to do the ABC challenge throughout the year 2023 and do it romance themed. And I found this thing on Kindle, Amazon, where it's a series of books that are all kind of intermixed and all different authors that follow the alphabet. And I asked Jen to be my co-host. So she agreed to hold my hand through this process as my co-host. And the lovely graphics that you're seeing, she did herself. So they're awesome.
Thank you.
And we do have a special guest with us today. So I'm going to let her introduce herself, and then we can just go around the table and introduce ourselves. So go ahead, this way.
Hello, I'm Becky from Beck's Reads. Hope you can hear me. I'm just here for Jackie. It sounded like a fun idea. We'll see how far along I get with you.
Yeah.
If it was based on book one, it ain't looking good.
I know. Well, yeah. Well, I'm Jen. I mean, hopefully people know me. If you don't, if you're just seeing me, that's awesome. Hi. I have the Book Refuge as my channel. I'm a romance reviewer, reader, full-time YouTuber. And yeah, this will be fun. Full disclosure, I didn't finish either of these first two books, which we can talk about as Jackie leads us through. But yeah, I'm here for it. It's gonna be fun.
All right.
Yep.
So I have a few questions. So we'll just go through it. And I made the cool little banners because Jen taught me how to do that. So I have banners. So the first one is installment expectations. Which installment were you actually most looking forward to? And why? And did it meet that expectation?
Like which book of these two?
Yeah, of these two were you most looking forward to? We're only talking about A and B. That's the only ones we're talking about right now. So
yeah, so based on the tropes probably is what we think. I mean, I was most excited for book one without knowing some of the finer details. I like Bodyguard. I like Childhood Friends. So
I think that was mine too,
because
I didn't even know the tropes for Beckon.
Okay. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I was most excited for the first one before we started for me. So yep, there you go. That's how you do it.
Now I was most excited for actually book two, and it did meet my expectations. Obviously you didn't finish book one, so it did not meet your expectations.
Yep.
So Becky, did yours meet your expectations?
For book one, hell no. Nope. Book two, since I didn't have any expectations, it exceeded it.
Okay, so let's go to the comments. Stacy, I had no expectations, but were new to me and didn't really look at anything before reading. Okay, who else did that? Because I think that's how I initially picked up this whole readathon. So
yeah, I mean, I I looked at them a little, obviously, because I was making the graphics and we were making the trope things for it. So I had read it briefly, but because, and for this entire readathon, there's only 2 authors that I've ever read before or even heard of before this. So I really don't have like high or low expectations. Like I'm in for whatever we're going for.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I didn't look into them before saying yes either. You know, I was just like, oh, cool idea. I like it. Let's do it. So yeah, I don't have expectations one way or the other, which is why too, I was just kind of like, whatever, I'm DNFing these because it's not like I was disappointed, and we'll get into it, but like it was a writing choice for me for both of these 2.
Okay.
Anyway, but
I will say I had the expectation that these were all on Kindle Unlimited.
Right.
And they are not. And after book 1, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have to buy this.
They're not all though. Well, and that's the thing of like, they all started on Kindle Unlimited.
Yeah.
But authors can take them off. Like they're not all on anymore. Like I had to buy Beckon, which I was.
I didn't have to buy Beckon.
Really?
I got on Kindle. I got it like the beginning of the month, so maybe that's the way.
I mean, I could have. Yeah, I had to buy it. So.
Yeah, it wasn't on there when I picked it up.
Yeah. Yes, I understand that. Yes.
Yeah,
we'll get into
definitely. Beckon was one for me too. I completely get that. All right. So speaking of that, let's go to the next point. And that is the tropes. The tropes that we listed were what we could find without technically reading the book. So this is just kind of like the back page of the book and kind of brief synopsis. Do you think that the books were marketed correctly for the right tropes, or with what you did read of book 1 and what you did read of book 2, do you feel like there were other tropes that could have been used to maybe make it more appealing, make it more open to people, give them a better feel of what the book was about?
What were the tropes for book 1 again?
Yeah, it was bodyguard, second chance.
Yeah. And then the second one was
like best friend's brother.
Yeah. And then the second one was PTSD, widow,
ex-military.
Military. So
yeah, I think all of those were pretty nailed. I mean, except for the bodyguard, I was expecting like something a little bit different with bodyguard.
Yeah.
I thought it would be like initial bodyguard romance and not like something he decided to do randomly off the cuff type thing.
Yeah, just for her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I kind of thought the same thing. Like he was kind of like he's ex-military, so he was ex-policeman, but he was a policeman and then became a bodyguard on the side. Yeah. So
I mean, again, like that does, like, it's true, like that does come from like me picking that, because it says like in the blurb, I'm pretty sure it says like I end up looking out for her. Yeah. But I mean, I also think that one's one where it did say like, did that one say bodyguard on?
It did.
That one might have even said that. But well, I mean, and that is what he becomes. So they're not like lying about it.
No, they're not lying. It just wasn't like the expectation I had for it was like he's a bodyguard. That's his job, but he's not. He's a cop, and then he becomes a bodyguard.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. I think that's a common belief on Amore for a lot lot of people.
Yeah, we'll
definitely hit that.
That's where I have some shit to say, my friend.
I got lots of shit to say. I got lots.
I have some stable questions, and then we have like the fun questions. So
you just keep going.
Do you feel like there was another trope in either one of these books that should have been brought forward that would have made it more appealing?
I mean, I don't know if it would have made it more appealing. I wish there would have been some that had told me were in there so that I could.
Yeah. I don't think anything could have made it more appealing, honestly.
No. Okay. Well, and that's the thing. Like, authors probably aren't going to advertise this because they maybe don't think so. But that was a cheating romance.
Yes. Yes, it was.
It doesn't say anywhere that he has a girlfriend and then he runs into her and like, I mean, they both have other people. But again, I can understand why that's not like, this is a cheating romance because
yeah,
people can dance their way around that. But I'm like,
Oh, they did.
Yes, yeah, they did. No, that one actually surprised me because I got from his character that he was very, you know, kind of straight-laced and everything, and then this happened, and I'm like, you're a dick, dude.
I mean, he's so cool. And again, like, that to me, we're just going into it. That comes from the writing, because he could have been written more sympathetic, but he's literally written as, like, you can tell he's ruined a relationship with his partner so that he can fuck her, and then did this immediately. Like, he's a horrible person. So
the minute I read that, I was like, you are a dick. You have been leading this woman along for 6 months.
Yeah.
Oh, I hated him from the start.
All right, since we're already on this topic, Amore, what didn't work?
Yeah.
Everything didn't work.
Yeah.
I gave it 1 star.
You gave it 1 star.
I gave it 1 star.
I DNF'd it, as I said. I always come to this because I never notice writing first. Like, I will notice all the other issues first, you know, particularly if the book is like passively written. If it's even just passively written and I like the characters and the romance, I can just be like I have friends who are much more particular because they critique writing, and I can let so much stuff go. But I'm reading this and I was like, they were switching tenses. Like, it wasn't in first person, but it would like kind of be, but yet we're still talking in third person in a first person way, and the over explanation of things, right? And that's totally fine because it's just awful. You don't have to notice those things, but like it literally was awful. And then I was noticing all of those things because I'm like, you're not even like writing this in a compelling way. Like, it's shitty.
Did you feel like she wrote it like, I thought this was how she wrote it that annoyed me with the writing, is she would like, I get up, I go to the closet, I take this out, I put it on. It's very like every little step she had to write, and that's one thing that annoyed me about the writing.
That's what I was saying. We totally agree, because to me it was over detailed writing, and it honestly felt like page stuffing, because this was a 190-page book, and the content in the first 50 pages could have been in 10. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, the amount of over explanation of things and not being able to write exposition well is just like, it was so bad. So I was so over it by the time he's like about to cheat on his girlfriend that I was just like, nope.
I started hate reading it at like 20 pages.
I finished the book. I did finish it, and I gave it, I believe, 2 stars. And because I finished it, the heroine, I've
never wanted a heroine to die more in my life in romance.
Wasn't even getting to her yet. She was awful.
Yeah, like, you ghost your friend for 9 fucking years.
Right?
9 years.
Yeah.
9 years.
Yeah.
That was immediately what got me, is I was like, she was your best friend. You sleep with her brother, which, like, is fine if you really love him. Like, I would be okay with it. And then, like, if the best friend had freaked out, but she didn't even try to find out.
No.
Yeah.
You know, because and he's been fucking harboring a crush on her for 9 damn years. It's like, dude, she hasn't talked to you in 9 years. What was so great about this?
Well, and that's the thing, is it's like, it would have been one thing if, like, she had slept with him and then her friend found out and was, like, really pissed. And so, like, the brother didn't know that the sister had, like, freaked out on her, and that's why she ghosted them. But she didn't even try to find out, from what I saw anyway. Like, again, I didn't finish it. Jackie, you'll have to tell me. But she didn't even try to talk to the best friend before she disappeared.
No,
she never talked to her.
No.
Ghosted.
She ends up having a phone conversation with her later on when they, you know, rekindle. And, you know, that conversation, we don't really get to see that conversation. We just hear about the aftermath, and it's all hunky-dory and fine.
Yeah,
and
she's like, oh, I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, what?
Which just makes you look even more stupid as a heroine.
Yeah.
Because you ghosted these people who cared about you for no reason.
Like, she knew them for 4 years. She didn't talk to him for 9 years, and this man was, like, in love with her. I'm like, dude, really?
Yep. My biggest thing with her was the first thing I started disliking her about was actually how we were reintroduced to her 9 years later. I didn't really care about her in the beginning. I was like, okay, she's a teenager, whatever, teenagers suck. You know, they just kind of suck sometimes. But when they rekindle and they meet and she's on a date with this Hollywood actor and she's literally in her monologue saying, it's not going to go anywhere. We were in a movie together and it's good for my publicity. So you're using him and you arbitrarily just use the other guy later on. So it just was like complete foreshadowing for me. I'm like,
well, I will say about that like that didn't bother me because that's what actresses do. Actors and actresses do that. Like, I'm pretty sure she says it's a publicity thing and that's why they like hadn't slept together because they're not actually like into each other. In my opinion, like that is a theme in other books. That's a theme in real life. So many couples are set up by agents. And I'm okay with that. I'm not okay with like him being in a relationship because
I'm not okay with that at all.
She can easily get out of hers. Like, that's why I think that like my problems with her actually didn't have to do with her having a boyfriend. It had to do with how she treated them so many years ago.
And you want to know when I started hating her?
Yeah.
When the bitch could crack an egg at 27 years old, I hated her. I was like, are you for real? You don't know how to crack a freaking egg. You are 27 years old.
Yeah.
I was like, I hate you. Of bad writing again. Because what is she trying to do? She's trying to show that this is a privileged, prissy little girl. And instead, you trade that knowledge for making your character look stupid.
Yeah.
She doesn't know how to crack an egg.
Yeah. She didn't know how to crack shit. And it's like you couldn't even blame it on like the background of her being like, I didn't have a mom to teach me. She came from a 2-parent household, middle class. You're telling me in 18 years of life, you never learned how to crack an egg?
Yeah.
I wanted her stalker to win. Yeah. I was like, take the bitch out.
Yeah.
I can't stand her.
And so we all agree that the heroine sucked. And how do we feel about the hero? Do we at any point in time like the hero? Do we at any point in time like him?
No.
I liked him up until the point where his girlfriend was like, are you ready? And he's in his inner monologue. He's like, I'm still in love with this girl. I have no intention of bloody. And I'm like, you're an asshole.
Yep.
You've been stringing this girl along for 6 months.
Mm-hmm. Who's been?
And that's when I started dating. Yeah.
Who's been planning getaways and who is your partner who like your lives rely on each other.
Yeah.
So for you to like be pulling off this BS, like.
Yeah. And he like purposely, when he tries to like rekindle with the girl, he purposely doesn't tell her that it's a girl.
Yeah. He doesn't say that Frankie is a chick.
Right.
Yeah. Not a dude.
Well, and then what the author does is when the girlfriend finds out, we try to make her look unreasonable and crazy.
Mm-hmm. Right. I hated that so much.
So that was the part that I didn't have to. Like, I'd seen them messing around, and then he talks to the girlfriend, and the girlfriend is like being and the way they write it is like she's unreasonable for being conceived.
Yeah.
Yep.
When it's like you went to see a friend and then you almost like slept with her right away, almost slept with her.
Yep. No, I completely agree with that. I didn't like the portrayal of the girlfriend. I didn't have a problem with him up until probably that moment. Because
disrespectful.
Like, I just was like, we tried to cover it saying, he can't talk about certain like jobs he has with like his bodyguarding when he's moonlighting as like a bouncer for this sex club. Like, he can't tell her about it. Okay. So now he's trying to use that to not tell her about the bodyguard thing. And I'm just like, you're being a dick and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Nope.
No.
Okay, let's go to the comments and see what people said they had a problem with. Let's see. All right. Amore, I expected it to be better than it was because the club and the dog, but I just couldn't get past the writing. Yep. I gave it 2.5 stars. I think I got it through it because I had my Alexa read it to me while I was
moving. Yeah.
I was able to tune out times, which probably helped my reading experience. I would have never considered listening to this on audio at all. I probably would have DNF'd it if I would have listened to this thing on audio.
Well, she said
lie.
Alexa did it, so that's not audio. So like Alexa,
I mean, I had my text to speech read it to me some parts too, because I was just like, I need to get through this shit.
Yeah, because like that always sounds monotone. So, you know, it probably kind of worked in this case.
Let's see. Just seemed more like telling than showing, and there could have been more done with it. Yep. My ex-husband can't cook box mac and cheese and he's 52.
But can he crack an egg?
Exactly. That's the question. Can he crack an egg? That is the question of the day. Adult life skills here. Can you crack an egg? All right. So did anything work about this book? Did like not just the storyline, but did anything actually like click with the writer's writing plus the storyline that she created? Or is this a complete total bust?
Nope.
You two didn't finish it.
I can't think of anything. Like, I can't think of anything that worked. What worked is it was 160 some pages or something like that. That's what worked. That's what got me to finish this book.
I like the dog.
I liked the dog. I hated his name. I thought it was because of what he was named after. I thought it was stupid. And I was like, that's a stupid name. I hate that.
When her dog was named after their song, I was like,
yeah. And her password was the same. And I'm just like, oh my God. This is so stupid.
I mean, I like the fact that they did tie in the title. I always like when books do that. That's something that I don't go looking for, but I do get a kind of thrill when I see the title in the book. So I'm just like, oh, okay, this is like I like to think that's the moment the author thought of the title of the book. That's what I like to think sometimes. I don't know if it's true. I've never written a book.
Well,
so,
I mean, I just think with this one that everyone was going to try to use the name of their book in the book. So I feel like it's like, oh, how am I going to use Amore in here? Well, there's a song that's called Amore. That's cool. Oh, and I could name the dog that. And so I don't know.
And I'm going to give her password that. I don't know.
I like the dog. I did. I liked the dog. I
also hated everything about this book, but there was something I was going to say very specific that I hated. And now I can't. Oh, it was the parents. The parents, when they got together and he like takes her back to like propose to her or whatever. And the parents are like, we had always hoped she would end up with you. I was like, he knew her for 4 years. He was 16.
I mean, sometimes you just know. Sometimes those high school romances, if they're not really high school romances, they just work. Like me and my husband, I stayed away from him because he scared me. And then I ended up marrying him after we got out of high school. That's him in the background. Yeah. No. So I feel like there were some things in this book that did work. Very cheesy elements. And if you like cheese, I think this was kind of cute elements. I liked when he came back and proposed and they did it in the tree house and he set it up. Like I personally really enjoyed that element because of the cheesiness factor. Every once in a while like the cheese. I do. I'm not going to deny it. So I actually like that part of the book. I don't know if anybody else agreed with that. Like maybe because you guys didn't finish it. So let's see what
she finished it.
Yeah, you did finish it. You just hated it.
Yeah.
I just hated it.
You just hated it.
But I finished it. I want my point for finishing this stupid book.
I'm going to put a little gold star over here by your name.
Gold star.
There you go. All right, let's see what some comments we have. It bothered me even more so since she was a policewoman. For her to be the stereotypical manipulative woman didn't fit what I would expect someone to be after going through that training. I agree, because that was never factored in, is the type of mental training that policemen go through. Law enforcement, my husband's in a law enforcement community, and they go through specific treatments and practices and things like that to kind of mute the emotional reaction to things because they have to, because they're in such high volatile situations. So I completely agree with that. 100%. I never even thought about that. I'm glad
they made her out to be crazy, and there was no indication that she was crazy in the start of the book. And they were just like, we need a villain, so we're going to make the ex seem like the craziest person out there. And I'm just like, where the hell did that come from?
Yeah, she's like the big quintessential ending moment. We're like, really?
Yeah.
This guy? This is the guy that made you go stage 5 clinger and fucked up 7 Ways Till Sunday.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Cool. Thanks. Let's see. I've got another comment here. Oh, the dog. She liked the dog. Yeah, the dog's cute. Although I did not need to know how many times I went to the bathroom. It was emphasized so many times.
Oh my
about the dog going to
gosh.
the bathroom. Oh my God, so many times. All right. Well,
however, when you have a dog, you do that a lot.
I'm a cat person, so
yeah. I mean, all of my dogs at my family's home are outside dogs, but one of my friends, they have 2 big dogs that are indoor and they have to be taken out to be taken potty. Like, it feels like it is disruptive of the day how many times they have to do that. But
it's amazing she didn't put in how many times they as the people went to the bathroom, to be quite honest.
Oh my gosh, right? I was waiting.
Yeah, with the amount of detail, I'm surprised, actually. That's actually a good point.
How can I add another 10 words to my page reads?
Yep. All right, so let's go off of that one, and we'll start out with what worked about Beckon, which is the second book by Verlene Lee. So, who would like to start?
I liked this one. I gave it 5 stars.
Okay.
I liked the tropes. I liked the characters. I thought they had good chemistry. I thought their progression in their romance was pretty good. I liked that there wasn't any stupid third act breakup conflict. There was about to be, but it got resolved. And I liked the PTSD rep in it and how it was handled. And I liked the single parent. I liked everything about this book.
Okay. What point did you DNF it, Jen?
I don't even know. That book is a blur to me for the most part, because I personally didn't like the representation in it. Just for me, I felt that it was very, very heavy-handed. And I don't know. It was strange for me. So I remember them being in a car together a lot, and him being very grumpy and her being very anal about things. And I'm like, you're driving drunk people around and things. Good luck trying to be anal about stuff. And then I was like, I have other books I need to read, so I'll just let this one go. So I didn't hate this one in the way that I was hating the other one. I just wasn't engaged with it. And because I just didn't feel a click with them, I wasn't feeling connected with either of them. I was just gonna back off of this one. So yeah, I don't have strong feelings for it, but I had hoped the tropes were gonna work for me, and then they just kind of didn't. So it's okay. I'm okay with that.
I gave this one 3 stars. I actually related more to this one than I thought I was going to, because of the step parent element, because I am a step parent and I'm a step parent to a child whose biological parent is deceased. So that was something that I could relate to, especially the scene where they're, they hook up for the first time and he's just like, I can't have another person in this bed with me. I can't have the ghost. I've had those feelings of anxiety and stuff like that. And it is real. It does suck. Especially knowing that person was important to the other person. And then knowing that they are going to be raising another person's child and they're not going to raise them the way that they originally had intended. They have to raise them kind of almost like a blend to kind of appease people. And then you realize either A, you're going to go all in, or A, you're going to fuck it. You're going to do what you feel is right. So I really, really resonated with this one a lot more. However, the representation was definitely something that didn't work for me. Not the military PTSD part. It was the lack of actually naming what was wrong with Tamitha, I think is how you pronounce her name.
Yeah.
I don't know for sure.
Tamitha.
Yeah, Tammy. I'm just going to call it Tammy. It's fine.
I mean, they call her Tammy most of the time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they didn't really give a explanation. I thought she had OCD. That's what I
felt too. And I felt kind of I have friends that have OCD, and I'm just like, you're calling these weird quirks and tics, and just fucking say what she has, and then don't misrepresent it that way.
I'm pretty sure she has OCD, but
yeah, Like
I wasn't sure because she kept like saying like talking to herself out loud was a quirk, and I'm like, is that not normal?
Yeah, but also that I'm like, I do that all the time.
Yeah, I'm like,
it's also something people
normal?
live
I thought that was something people just did.
Yeah, but I felt this one worked a lot more. I think there was still parts of the writing that I wasn't a huge fan of, but I did feel like the story flowed a lot better. It had a better well thought out concept. It hit all the points, and it didn't info dump on a lot of things. Like you figured out how the husband died without her blatantly having to say it and go into graphic detail. You get like a flashback, and then it's implied of how he died based off of what she's doing now. And I was the DD in college, so I also resonated with her in that respect because I've been hit by a drunk driver, and I'm a huge advocate. Like, you don't fucking do that. Call me at 3:00 in the morning. I'll come pick up your ass. I don't care. So I resonated on a lot of levels with both characters in these books for personal reasons. And I liked that it didn't trigger me. Not that it would have really triggered me, but like to the point where I'm like, I can't deal with this. It just it felt very relatable to me with the writing, and how these sensitive topics were handled. But I just didn't like the fact that she wouldn't just fucking name what the hell was wrong with her. Just name it. It has a name. It's a medical condition. It has treatments, like seriously, just fucking name it. I would feel better about the representation in it if she just named it. Let's see what the people think. All right, we got Stacy. The one I DNF'd at 35%. I thought there was a lot of repetitiveness about his struggles and how it was discussed. It wasn't triggered by it, just thought it felt icky. Okay. There was a lot of repetition, a lot of rebuilding of like his past traumas. Not so much hers. I would say definitely more on him. We got more story on him, like the battle sequence that really triggered everything. So yeah, that makes sense for sure. I didn't finish for reasons, but what I did get through, I loved his best friend and her being so considerate and worried about him. The best friend was pretty cool. Not gonna lie, I liked him.
Yeah,
I did like him a lot. Let's see. The
PTSD.
I
thought I was gonna like it. I thought I was gonna like it because of the best friend. Like that was a cool thing in the beginning with the friend.
This one, PTSD rep on his part was way more than uncomfortable. This book hit a lot of triggers that I didn't know I had too soon. Oh, wow. Wow. Okay. So would you say that the tropes were maybe not emphasized enough? Like they should have been more severe?
I mean, if she didn't know she had them, it's saying it's PTSD. Like PTSD can be a lot of things. So
did it say it was specifically like war PTSD?
Yeah, he was in combat.
It's ex-military PTSD.
Yeah. So. I didn't pay any attention to anything about this book before I started.
Well, that is kind of the thing. If you don't have triggers, you don't need to know stuff.
Yeah.
Like I only need to know because I review stuff. I don't really have triggers, so I don't usually care. But I have become careful because I can't recommend things to my viewers where they're going to be like, Jen, what the fuck? You're supposed to tell me that. But also it can be on so many different things because you can have war PTSD.
But like, I was going to say
if it from cell shock or from, other things.
Because couldn't what she had also be like a form of PTSD from, so like if that is just in the synopsis or whatever, there's so many different types of PTSD that you never know what you're going to get.
Well, she did. I mean, they again, but they didn't call it that for her. Like none of her stuff got actually labeled. His shit got labeled, which I thought was dumb because when she's in a taxi cab or not in a taxi, she's in the car and she goes to pick up him and his friend after the big counseling session. And she finds out he's at a bar. She's immediately like, oh, he's drinking, like it triggered her to automatically be on the defense when he was drunk. So like it was there too, just not as severe, I guess, as his to be able to label it.
Anxiety, something.
Yeah. But
that's I feel like, I mean, I don't know if the book did or not, you have to tell me, but I feel like that's where it should have maybe went with it, right? Is that they have their different PTSDs and are able to work through them together. Is that what?
Yeah, they eventually do. So
Okay.
the ending of the book is her mom is getting married, and she invites him to be her guest at the wedding. And the mom, after the ceremony, says, if you're not going to take care of her and be the man that you need to be and love her openly and everything, because when she opens up her heart, it's huge and she loves hard and she falls even harder, then please stay in your room tonight. Don't go to her. She initiates the super sexy fun times. They have super sexy fun times. And then they have a freak out moment because
and that's when I thought like a breakup was going to happen.
Yeah, me too. But they suffer from like these night terror, like I don't want to say they're night terrors, but like nightmares. But he woke up in kind of like a fit and woke up looking at her saying, what the fuck are you doing? And it freaked her out. And she whispered, I miss you. He thought she was talking to her dead ex-husband, and she was actually talking to him. Huge misunderstanding here. And then they both decide like, okay, no, I'm in, I want you, I love you, I care about you, but I can't stay with you right now, but I'm going to go get fixed. And then he's gone for like 2 fucking weeks. This is one thing I had a problem with. He's gone for like 2 weeks and all of a sudden it's hunky-dory. Like you don't fix shit in 2 weeks.
I thought it was like, 2 months.
No, you don't. Maybe it was a month. Maybe it was a month. It was not enough amount of time to fix all of that to get the ending that we did. So that kind of brings me to... I felt
like he was gone for like 2 months, but then again, I was listening text to speech, and so I could have zoned out.
Which kind of leads us into what didn't work. So what didn't work for you about this book?
For me, it was...
Yeah, go ahead, Jen.
Yeah, for me, it was this shouldn't have been in... Like, what threw me out of it was that it was third person. This one, I needed first person for what they were going through. That would have kept me in it more. Like, just a flat across the board. Like, that doesn't always bother me. There are some people who read romance who, like, can't read third person ones. That's not it for me. I read lots of fantasy. I read plenty of things in third person. But this one, with the issues they're dealing with, like, I needed, like, a first person look at it. So that was the first thing that threw me. So, like, that just didn't work for then, like, the issues we were dealing with. I wanted to, like, be in their heads for me. So, anyway, that's me.
It started really, like, slowly for me. Like, I didn't get into it for a really long time. I thought their relationship developed pretty quickly. Like, she takes him home, he's drunk, she helps him into his house, she pretty much fucking takes care of him, and I'm just like, damn girl, this is a lot for an Uber driver. Yeah. And so, but once they like re-met up and whatever and their relationship got going, I was on board with it. I honestly didn't think what I was going to rate this when I was done with it, because I didn't feel like a super strong connection with their chemistry. I felt like their chemistry could have been better, but like I was listing off the things I liked about it, and I'm like, is there anything I didn't like about this? And I couldn't really think of anything at the time, so I gave it 5 stars.
I do that plenty of times when I'm like, I didn't dislike anything, so then we go. Yeah. That works.
It's like there were things that really, they kind of, but nothing I like super disliked. Yeah. But that's about it. That didn't work for me.
Mm-hmm.
It was the clear representation of him, lack of representation for her. Like, that just annoys the crap out of me. Because all this, like, everything was there. Like, she might as well just copy the DSM for OCD. Like, she hit all the major points for OCD. So I was just like, this is annoying. That bothered me. And the other thing that kind of bothered me, like, her mom was so accepting of this man to her grandson. Like, there was the only thing she ever said was at the wedding and saying like, look, if you can't be what she needs, then stay away. But I was just like, it's not just her at this point, because he's already met the son. He's already sort of invested in the son. And it's like, she's an active like parent in this child's life, because they're helping, because she doesn't have her husband anymore. And I just was like, you should have maybe, I don't know, sat her down and said, like, what do you really know about this guy? I mean, really, what do you really know? Because we don't get any of those really intimate conversations. We get their initial meeting. We get their initial, like, re-meet up in this little, like, weird arcade start style date thing, which I thought was pretty fucking funny. That was kind of funny. I enjoyed that concept. That first date was neat. And then we get this like kind of emotional thing at the second real day of the cowboy thing. And then we get these little baby meetings. I'm like, you had literally 2 dates and all of a sudden he's like, sure, go ahead, raise my grandson.
Daddy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm like, no, being a step parent, that kind of bothered me because I had to earn, like I had to work my way in, you know, like I had to prove to my husband that, you know, I was someone you could bring around the child and everything like that because she didn't have, her mother passed away. So I was de facto going to be it. I had to earn kind of my right to meet her and have people kind of accept me as that role.
Well, Jackie, maybe that's a you thing. Maybe
it's my resting bitch face. It's fine. It's a condition I live with it on a regular basis. All right.
I'm teasing. No, I totally agree.
See, that's something that usually I would pinpoint in a romance too. But for some reason, it just flew right out.
Especially because he has issues. Like you can be completely compassionate for someone's issues and then still be a little worried about your kid or your grandkid and be like, we think you're a good guy, but like you need to have worked on your issues before you can be this, you know?
Yeah.
Like that, I could definitely see why that would be like bug you because it's like, wow, all right, you're just giving him the keys to the kingdom when like, you know, what a way to mess up a kid again if the kid loves you.
Like it's love, but with the kid and him. It's like, oh, they meet and it's like father son immediately.
Yeah.
Some of the comments so we can kind of catch up. I've read plenty of things that dealt with suicide and PTSD, and it didn't trigger me. My son's father was in the military and lost his fight with PTSD and died 10 years ago. So I thought I dealt with that. But his thoughts just brought everything back and it was going through it and it was a lot. I'm sorry for your loss. That sucks. Yeah. That really sucks. And I'm sorry this book brought that up and it wasn't as clearly stated as it was going to be a strong one for you. So I'm sorry you had to go through that.
Yeah. But that's a tough thing to know ahead of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I want to talk about these things.
Sounds like it was the right choice to DNF this one.
Yeah, because of therapy people. I'm glad you were able to talk about it now, and you were able to work your way through it, and you're still working your way through it because it's not something that just stops.
This live show is sponsored by BetterHelp.
Yes.
Just kidding. But therapy is a beautiful thing. Absolutely.
So, is there anything else that didn't work in Beckon that we can think about? That we want to mention?
I'm sure if I really thought about it, I could find something, but I think after Amore, Amore just shattered my soul. So anything.
This is the main thing that like kind of, I understand why it was done. I get the symbolism of it. I get it, but it is still creepy as fucking shit was the damn proposal. Who thought proposing in a damn graveyard like 5 feet away from her dead ex-husband's grave was a good fucking idea?
Wow, that happens? Okay. Yeah.
Like, I saw that. I was like, whoa. What?
I mean, I got it. I thought it was a very, poignant thing for him to do, to have her dead husband sort of there and whatever. I mean, I didn't think it was that bad.
Yes, I get that. But like at the actual cemetery?
I mean, I like cemeteries, so I wouldn't think it would be that creepy, honestly.
I like cemeteries too. Like, but still, I did not want my husband proposing me 5 feet away from his dead ex-wife. Like that, no. That I would have been like, this is awkward as fuck, Lauren. I'm sorry.
It's fiction, Jackie. You need to separate the two.
I know. But still, I like that was just like, really? Okay. All right. I kind of get it. Still kind of creepy. I thought that was a little weird, but I understood what was there because it was so poignant to her, and it was, and I thought the kid in it was adorable because he like completely ruined it because that's what kids do. Like they just kind of ruin surprises, and I thought that was kind of cute. But I was just like, really? You couldn't have found something like more unique to just you two, because this is my thing on proposals. It's not about everybody else. It's about those two people. And it needs to be significant to those two people. And I don't feel like that was significant to him. Like, it needs to mean something to both of them. And that's just how I am with proposals. Always have been.
Yeah.
It's the hopeless romantic in me. We got a comment. Yeah, that's a lame.
Yeah, I mean, people are gonna ask you your proposal story forever. And do you want to say like, yeah, I proposed in the graveyard?
Yeah, like seriously. This is a moment in a girl's life. You remember everything. You remember the time of day, the date, where you were, what he said, how you felt, who was there, who wasn't there, what you were wearing. Like, my husband made a custom-made magic card to propose to me on, and proposed to me at our restaurant that we went to on our first public date, and got down on one knee and proposed with this magic card. I carried that magic card with me in my wallet until the day I got married. Just to show people, like, this shit matters. And you didn't.
I'd be like, he proposed to me at sunset in the graveyard, and it was beautiful.
Unless you're a spooky chick, that's not a good idea.
I wouldn't mind it.
Right, Sharon Needles.
Maybe not next to my dead person's relatives or whatever.
This is why we've reached a point where, like, every book is for somebody. And now we know that Bex is interesting. We learned something.
It might have graveyard. Vampires or zombies involved. Yes.
No, that wouldn't have worked. That wouldn't have worked for me. It needs to be beautiful. It needs to be a well-manicured graveyard with like a very beautiful tombstone against the sunset.
No.
All right.
Nice weather.
Anybody watching, if you find Beck's soulmate, this is her proposal right here. She wants a beautiful manicured cemetery with a fucking sunset. What the fuck?
And then you can do a flash dance with.
I think that would be better than like a jumbotron at some fucking sporting event.
No.
If the
I would totally take graveyard of that.
Yeah, it would. Like one of my best friends got proposed to at a Cubs game because she's a huge Cubs fan.
But again,
like,
hey, I'm bringing it back to it depends on the people. If your loved one's a big sports fan, they might be like, I hope that I get proposed to that way one day. And if they are, a mortician, they might think of graveyard.
You know what would be very romantic? As if he proposed to me in front of our plot that he paid for together so that we would die together.
Whoa.
Holy shit.
I will be with you until death.
That's commitment.
I will be with you until death.
Once you've committed to that, that'd be interesting. I would be more.
You can't go back from that. It's paid for and already on the tombstone.
Yep.
I have read that before, Stacey, because he asked permission from her dead dad so that he could marry her. And then he proposed with her. That was cute in one. But I agree, like, dead spouse. That.
Yeah. Like,
or being the fact that, like, didn't you say, he said, like, I can't have the ghost in bed?
Exactly. I was about to say that. I'm like,
but then he went to therapy and he got over it in those 1 month.
No, because he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Like, you don't want to go to bed with the ghost of the other person. Like, that is, I mean, that's a real thing. Like, my uncle, he was married to my aunt for 33 years before she died. And he got remarried like 3 years later. And like, guess what? He got a new bed the year after she died. Because
she got a new bed. She got rid of all of her stuff.
That's not my point. But I'm like, that's still like, that's stuff that has to be worked through. And I mean, I know the point is he did therapy. Great. But then to do it in the graveyard as the proof that he is over it, I'm kind of like, you don't have to prove it that way, my guy. You don't have to prove you're okay with it. You can just say, like, it's okay if you miss your husband now and then, and I can be secure in our relationship.
Yep.
That's how you show you're over it. You're like, hey, if you need to cry about it once in a while, that's okay, because you can miss this person. That's how you show you're okay with it. Not
all right.
Anyway.
Let's move on to connections. Okay, so a little bit of backstory about this series. Verlene Lee is the architect behind this. She is the author of Beckon. And some of the little research I did is she wanted to do this alphabet kind of style story. And she got her friend, Kimberly Knight, who wrote Amore, to sign on. And then they together found all the authors to do this. And she did specify in her author's note at the end of Beckon that there is possibly Easter eggs for connections among the books. So did you see any connections between these two books?
I didn't see shit.
I didn't see anything either. That's why I was like, I'm going to see, maybe I'll still be caught anything. The only thing I caught was that they both used the title. Amore was the dog. And then,
when was Beckon used? Because I missed that.
He says it one time. He says, I'll come whenever she beckons.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And he says it really early on, before like any of the actual relationship stuff really like hardcore starts. And I was like,
I saw it before I DNF'd.
Yeah. So like,
I mean, I don't think that counts as a connection because
I wasn't thinking that his name was going to be Beckon.
Well, no, like 80% of books use their title in it. Like I will guarantee you that 80% of books use it. That's why it gets picked. So I don't.
Or I thought maybe their kid at the end would have been named Beckon or something, but
like
I totally didn't even miss that.
It's an
yes, it is. You can name your kid Beckon. If you can name your kid Apple or
it's an
some stupid thing, you can name it Beckon.
I have never seen it.
That's what my friend said. She's like, well, maybe it meant she's Beckon. I'm like, oh.
I've heard of Bracken or Brandon or but Beckon, never heard of it.
It's like bend it like Beckham, only it's Beckon.
Yeah, but that's Beckham. That's a name.
Listen, there are some weird
last name on top of it. David Beckham.
Yeah.
No, I was just curious to see when you saw that one. But there is, for future installments, there is possible Easter eggs and connections between the novels. Because they did kind of, when they picked the authors, they specified what they were going with. And when the authors wrote from her author's note, she found that there was some of the authors were connecting books. They wanted to know bits and pieces of like locations or people's names or things like that to figure out if there's any connections involved. So if you see any, it's something that we're looking for. Not hardcore, but yeah. All right. Next topic, the fun topic. It's the fun one. Okay. It's the smut level.
Oh.
It's the sexy times.
I never got to sex in either of them, so I don't know.
Oh.
I skipped the sex scenes in Amore. Like when they granted, I was listening once again, text to speech.
That tells
and hearing your Kindle say the words like cock and stuff in her robotic voice is always fun, but I couldn't even listen to that because I was like, I hate these two. I want this stalker to take them both out. And I was like, ew, I can't. So I skipped right past them.
Yep. That's when you know you really are hate reading a book, when you're like, I don't even want to see you two get off. I'm skipping it.
Nope. I didn't.
I thought Amore was going to be a lot sexier than it was because they got reintroduced at a sex club.
Right.
I was expecting like joining in, grabbing people that work there sort of tile thing. Maybe she was a nympho that we weren't really aware of or something. No, what I got was pretty fucking vanilla.
It was like two pieces of paper rubbing together.
Yeah. I was like, I don't even think I blinked when I was reading it. Like, it wasn't even like, maybe my little twitches that I do. I'm like, the what? I didn't raise my eyebrows or anything.
I was like,
but we only got really one sex scene, so.
Yeah. Oh, well, they did have phone sex.
Yes.
Did they not?
Yes. Beckon did do a little
if you count that.
Yeah, they did do a little video voyeur stuff going on, which I thought was kind of cool. But then she hid her face. What? Don't. Yeah. But
at least I read those.
Beckon was a lot smuttier for me, and that wasn't by a lot.
Yeah,
I thought Amore was definitely higher up there.
Jenilyn is like, the smut was pitiful in Amore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Neither was super, super smutty, but I think because I liked the characters more in Beckon that I actually cared enough to listen to their sex scenes.
Maybe there'll be a sex club in a future book. Maybe. That's a great concept. That would be a total Easter egg. That would be an Easter egg worthy thing. I think you're onto something there. Because I've read the synopsis of some of these other books. I'm like, real interesting. That's kind of interesting. So like hopefully the smut will get ratcheted up a lot.
I mean, some of the authors that I know, they write pretty smutty books. So the two authors that I know, I'm expecting theirs. Well, number one, I'm expecting their quality to be a lot higher than these two, but also because they write smuttier books. So I think it will be different all the way through.
I honestly, the sex scene that when they finally hook up in the hotel room, I actually really enjoyed. And one of the things I really enjoyed about it was actually not a sexy thing. It was the fact, not like a stereotypical sexy thing. It's okay. So she, for all intents and purposes, she has OCD. They're completely stripped. Clothes are thrown everywhere.
Yeah, when he picks up the clothes.
He's like, I can't function right now because I know that there's a mess. And he gets up and folds everything, puts in a nice pile, and that's like the biggest turn on for her. And then she like pounces on him. I'm like, way to fucking utilize her whatever in the sex scene. I actually like applauded a little bit that one. I was
it made her more comfortable, and he was
exactly
when she's comfortable, it's better.
Yeah, I was very happy with that element because that to me, comparing like the writing styles, that was good writing, that she was utilizing the environment that she had created entirely. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it for sure. It wasn't a super hot, sexy moment, but it was for the chick, and it was great. Mm-hmm. And then her whole shower right after, which I thought was like, damn, all right. So yeah, I enjoyed that moment. But Amore's sex scene, I actually didn't remember it. I remember not giving a shit. That's what I remember about it.
I was like, ugh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Any more comments about the super sexy fun times? Yay, nays.
It was fine for Beckon. It was fine. It was fine. Yeah. Okay. I've read worse. I've read hell better, but it was fine.
Right.
All right. The next component, the authors. I think this is where we're all going to start bitching a lot. Not that we haven't even bitched a lot, but here we go. Authors. First question. Which one did you prefer? Not did you, would you read again? Which one did you prefer? And
Verlaine.
Yeah, probably that one. Beckon's author, Verlaine. I could read her again if I had to.
I think it's funny that you said if you had to. Now, here's the second part. Would you pick them up again? Either one. Would you pick up another piece of their work? Because
I don't think I would search out her other books. No,
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
I might pick up Verlaine Lee again just to see what else she can do. But I don't think I'd pick up Kimberly Knight again. Although Kimberly Knight, when I was reading on Kindle, like apparently she's got a trilogy out that's like a reverse harem. And I'm like, oh, okay. Because it keeps popping up now that I read it. So
well, if you read that, you let
I
us
don't
know
trust her. I didn't like her with two people. I don't think I could trust her with more. No, because this is how much she like fucked up two people. I wouldn't be in for more, but that's me.
Good God, if she writes all of her characters as she thinks they're like redeeming and relatable, hell.
Yeah, I didn't find the two characters more relatable or really redeemable. So, but Beckon, they were relatable. All right, let's see. Beckon was definitely written better. And we also have, I guess, Kimberly, because I actually finished it.
Nice.
Yeah. Not everything's a bust. That's why I asked this question, because, like, I mean, how many times have you read a first go on an author and you hated it, but then you found something later on down the road and you loved it? But if you would have gone with your initial reaction to the author, you would have missed out on this great book.
I mean, that's why, I have a 3-book rule in general where like I give them more chances. I think it'd be different for me. Like if anybody that we read during this is a debut author with this book, I would like give it another chance. With the writing style of the first book, I wouldn't try another one because I would feel like I was wasting my time. Whereas with Verlene, it was just it was topic reasons why, and then also the like third person choice that threw me out. But I would still try another book again because, like, I mean, she didn't offend me. I just wasn't sucked into the book and I had other stuff going on. Like, honestly, it was a mood. I'm a mood reader. So that's why I gave authors 3 tries, is because, like, I'm a mood reader. And if I tried another book by her, I might be like, oh, this was great. So.
Okay, so your 3-book rule, because I didn't know this, is that a 3-book rule of like say they have a series? Is it each book, like 3 books within that series, or is it 3 different books that aren't connected at all?
No, it just depends. It just depends. Like if they only really write one thing, you know, or whatever. But in general, it's like I'll try 3 different books, whether it's in a series or they're separate series or whatever. That's just something I've stuck to. Am I still willing to break it? Yeah, because I'm a mood reader and I'll read whatever the fuck that I want. But in general, that's what I do. If there was like a writing issue or there was a specific topic issue for me. Whereas, like, again, if I read an author who they just write topics and things that are very like offensive to me, then I'm done. I'm like, one and done. I'm like, no, you don't get a second chance because this is your ideology. This is the way that you write. These things are going to keep coming up. But that's my personal.
Becky, do you have a rule like that for trying new authors or anything like that?
Not really. I'm just more likely to pick up an author again if I liked the first book that I read by them. Like, I wouldn't say I would never pick up a Verlaine book again. I just wouldn't seek them out. Like, if something popped up and it like had tropes in it that I liked, I might check it out. But I definitely wouldn't go searching for her books to read. But Kimberly, since I hated that book, I don't know. I would not give her a second try. If it were like a 3-star, I could see myself like, oh, if something popped up and she wrote something that appealed to me in the future, I might give her a second chance. But because I hated it, absolutely not.
I would probably pick up Verlene. I probably won't ever pick up Kimberly again. Although that reverse harem that just keeps popping up on my Kindle over and over again, I'm just gonna like, it's like, you know,
it's wearing you down.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just like, okay, maybe
Are there
maybe
reviews
something here. I don't know, but I don't really reverse harems kind of hit or miss with me. Every reverse harem I've read, I end up hating the heroine, and I already hated the heroine in their solo books. So, like, you know, I don't know. But yeah.
What were the average ratings for these 2? Do you know?
I can find out real fast. I had it in my little spreadsheet, but I didn't bring that up. So let me bring it up.
Because I didn't even look at that when I.
Out of 154 ratings, Amore rates at a 4.2.
What?
Yeah, that's funny. I remember this. Hold on, I have something to say. What's the other one?
And Beckon. Let me bring it up.
That's right, because I looked this up when I DNF'd it, and I have something to say about it.
Beckon, at a 37 ratings, has a 4.5.
Yeah, so it was rated all by the other authors. Like, yeah, all the reviews were saying, like, this was great. There's not detailed reviews that are 5 stars. All the 5 stars are completely, like, people related to the author or whatever. Like,
yeah, that explains
it has such a high rating because other people aren't reading the book. So that's, I mean, honestly, it's why I like kind of wanted to finish it and rate it so that it has some honest ratings, but I just couldn't push myself through it because when I was like looking, I'm like, oh, that's high. But then when I DNF'd it, I went and I looked at those 5 stars and they either don't even have a review. They're just someone giving it 5 stars, or they were like, I love this author. This was great. And I was like, friend.
Oh, I'm going to have to go add my review then.
Yes, you definitely should.
Not that I want to be petty and knock her down, but
no. Yeah, and
this book needs to be rated lowly.
But you can literally just be honest and be like, this couldn't be rated this high. Like, that's honesty.
Like, I rated it on Storygraph because I hardly ever rate stuff on Amazon.
Right.
I'm gonna see what it's rated on, if anybody else even rated it on Storygraph.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So did
I remember they were so high too when I looked at them.
Yeah. Yep. And that's exactly, it's funny that you'd ask that, Bex, because I was like, what is this rated? And I was like, 4 point, whatever. I was like, nah. I was like, romance readers are more intelligent than this. And I went and looked, and when I saw how it was rated, where you don't see reviews, I was like, no, it's which is fine. I mean, but it literally means that like no one else was reading it, because if it was being naturally picked up by people, there would be honest ratings. There would be some 3 stars. There wouldn't necessarily have to be a bunch of 1 stars. There are no books that only have 5 stars. Like, it's just not. The best book in the world does not just have 5 stars. So
yeah.
So on Storygraph, there's 3 reviews, and it's got a 4.67 rating. Beckon.
Wow. Oh, okay.
Yeah, on Storygraph, where like only the cool people review.
Right. I literally want to get into Storygraph every year, but like, I just can't. My life's on Goodreads, and
I love Storygraph. I hate
it's
Goodreads.
super cool.
Well, I don't hate it. I just love Storygraph so much better.
Because I like review things for authors, like I have to put it on Goodreads. So until authors ask me to start reviewing on Storygraph, I just won't be doing that.
Yeah.
I have too many other things going, but one of my friends is using Storygraph this year, and her stuff looks so cool. But she was able to like wipe her account and start fresh. But like, I started a Storygraph a year and a half ago, and now I have all this old stuff on it, and I can't just like wipe it and start new, because I would want to like start over again. But anyway, that's just me rambling. So yeah.
Amore has 5 ratings on Storygraph with an average rating of 3.43.
Okay. So there's some more honesty.
Well, I like the fact, like, I mean, these just came out last year. Like, and here's the thing, when I did my little research on the authors, like, I think Verlaine wrote Beckon in, I think she said 2 or 3 months. Like, they had very narrow windows to bust these books out. Yeah. So knowing that fact now, that they had a very narrow window to kind of show you what they're capable of on a first time go around, would you give them another chance, knowing that they maybe weren't given the exact amount of time that they needed to really be forthcoming with their story?
No.
Okay.
No.
Listen, I can't write for shit.
Like, I mean, right. I mean, I can't write anyway.
You could give me something to write, and in 3 months I couldn't write shit. So props to them for even writing something.
I mean, yeah, right. I mean, and that's why I'm never going to be completely cruel to an author. I'll never be cruel to someone. But like, most indie authors do write a book every 2 months. Like, they have to be able to do it, you know. And if this is your career or even your side hustle where you're selling books, like, you have to be able to write them in a couple of months. Like, you just do. I mean, my favorite book series ever, the author wrote 1 book a month for the whole thing. Like, I'm not saying that's doable by everyone, but I have seen spectacular quality come out of a month worth of writing. And like, in my opinion, it's the writing style that was weak. And that's not necessarily going to change whether you have 2 months or 6 months to write it. If that's the chosen style that the author has, I'm not going to like their book no matter how long they take. I'm just not. And that's me. Like, I'm not going to like that kind of writing style where you overly detail every little thing. So it doesn't matter to me. I feel like if she'd had 6 months, there would have been another 100 pages of overly detailed
She
shit.
could have had some like editing done or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, my opinions. This is me. These are my strong opinions.
I feel knowing that, because I mean, I always want to give authors second chances, because I'm not a fucking author, and you wrote something, and it should, even if it's bad, it should still kind of be talked about, because at least you took a chance. And it's only bad for, you know, me. It could be great for somebody else, because we are all different tastes and styles and things like that. So, no, I agree. But
well, if you don't write something bad, it's not really encouraging authors to improve on whatever it is that was bad. So if all they get is 5-star reviews from their friends and family,
right,
They're going to keep.
They're not really going to get. Yeah, they're going to keep churning out the same thing, and nobody's going to give them constructive criticism for it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have friends who write, and I definitely have been easier on them than I would on other people because I'm not their writing partner. So I always give an honest review, but I definitely can hold things back from my review and not pick apart every little thing. When I know that my friend, holy shit, you're writing books now, I'm not going to be a deterrent. If they asked me to be their critique partner, then I would do that. But they're not. They're just like, hey, you want to read my book? Here's a copy. I'm like, okay, yeah, it was fun. Thanks for giving it to me. Like, so I don't necessarily fault their friends either, but it just seemed really clear to me that every one of those reviews that made it a 4.4 were people who like probably didn't actually read it. They were giving it to their friend. That's my opinion, because I wouldn't even give a best friend like an easy rating like that. But that's me. Like, this is my career and people have to trust me. And if I give my besties a pass, then people aren't going to trust me. So,
yep.
That's me. I gotta be tough.
Like, I'm the same way. Of like, I'll be honest. Like, my aunt, she wrote like a short story collection or whatever, and she gave it to me, and I told her how I felt about it.
Yeah.
I was like, I like this. I didn't like that.
I mean, it's like my friend, obviously, I'm willing to use my platform for them if their product, if their product, which is their book, is worth it. I absolutely would. But I tell anyone who's like, hey, I want to read your book. I'm going to, like, I would pay for it myself, even if you didn't give me an arc of this. But I'll be honest. So you tell me if you want to be honest, if you want me to be honest to your face or be honest in my written review, and then I'll just tell you not to read it. Because I've done that for friends who are, I'm like, I'm going to be honest because I have to write a review, but maybe don't read it. And I love you.
That's what I would tell people, authors, because I reviewed books for a long time for authors, and I stopped doing it because I just couldn't deal with it anymore. But I was like, I'm very honest, and if you can't stand a negative review, please don't ask me to review your book, because if it's bad, I will leave a 1 or 2 star review. So if you can't handle that, please don't ask me to review your book.
It means so much more, because when I when I rate one of my friends' books and I gave it a 6 star, she's like, I know that you aren't just shitting me and giving me that because you know me. And I'm like, you're right, because I don't give those just because, like, I loved it. It means more than just, you gave me a pity 5 star, but you never talk about my book again because. Anyway, sorry, I'm just rambling about shit now.
Nope, you're good. Final thoughts and takeaways. Are there any final thoughts on these 2 books and anything you took away from these 2 books? Because people read for multiple reasons. Some people read to escape. Some people read to learn. Some people read for entertainment. What did you take away from these books? And final thoughts on them?
I read for entertainment. So like where Jen can spot the voice that it's in, I never pay attention to that in books. Like first person, second person, I never pay attention to that. So I read purely for entertainment, and if I'm entertained and can escape and become the characters, and I like the characters I become. And I did not like Amore. I hated that so much. I will be salty about that book all year long.
Oh damn!
But it was nice to. It'll be one of the worst books of 2023.
Yep.
It will.
Yes.
It's always
mission fucking accomplished.
Yep.
I wanted to.
So it will be a book that will stay in my brain. Where you read 3-star books and you just forget about them.
Yeah.
This one will stick with me all year.
That's so.
I will be forever salty that this cow didn't know how to crack an egg.
Yeah.
I will forever be upset about that.
I love that because it's so true. Like, I actually usually struggle at the end of the year to have a worst books list. And so when I have one that I really hate, I'm almost kind of like, I'm going to get a rant about that at the end of the year too. It's going to be great. Like, I don't do many rant videos because I only really review what I love. But I like when I have one that I'm like, I can rant about this. It feels so good. But my final thoughts and takeaway are good riddance to these 2 books. On to the next ones. Let's see. I mean, I'm the whole time I'm going to be excited to go to the next books because they're all going to be different. It's going to be a brand new chance. So I'm ready for
I don't know that I will join you for the next 2 books, but you never know. If I get around to reading them, I might.
So my final thoughts are definitely that this was a lot of fun. Like, I was very nervous going in this because I don't like recommending books that I've never read. And essentially I'm saying like, hey, join me on this. Read these books. Waste your time on possibly a crappy book. And the first book was a complete total bust for pretty much everybody. I think it's the consensus.
I was like, Jackie, I don't know if you want me to be on a live with this because I tear apart.
And then Jen and her weekly, I was like, I DNF'd it. I'm like, oh shit. Oh God. Okay. I felt very nervous.
I was excited because I was like, I like trash talking sometimes.
Yeah. But no, my final thoughts are like, I'm still having a good time with this, and I'm excited about the next 2 books. But my takeaways from this is definitely maybe vet authors just a little bit more. Like, this is definitely, I feel like this experience is going to teach me to maybe read the reviews on the book, not just look at the number. You know?
Yeah, that's a good learning.
Yeah, I'm trying to look on the silver linings here. But I'm excited for the next 2. So let's see. What did people learn?
Just like, honestly, anytime you see a rating that's above a 4.5, you should look at how many ratings there are. This is just coming from a reviewer, because if the rating is over 4.5, that means that there's an unusual amount of 5 stars for it to be tipping that. So it either means
especially
that
for a book you've never heard of.
Exactly. Because a lot of times a book can only have that if there's like less than 20 reviews or no one's read it. So no, that's a good point, because if you see, because even again, some of the best books are usually between 4.2 and 4.4. That is where like very beloved books sit at. Like Outlander and like Sarah J. Maas stuff, they sit right in there. And anything higher, it's usually because they haven't been vetted by very many people. Anyway, go ahead, Jackie. Sorry.
No, you're good. Let's see what some other people say. Well, obviously I need more therapy. Okay.
We all do.
I think we all do at this point. It's cool. I'm slightly nervous the next 2 books, but I hope they get better. Yeah, me too. I think everybody agrees with that. I'm really nervous about Comfort because it's no longer on KU. I downloaded a sample to try it before I buy.
Good choice.
Okay.
Man, I hope not all of these end up off of KU.
Yeah.
I think I will only read them if they're on KU.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yep.
Oh, so we were also, I don't know when Jackie was going to bring it up, but I'll just do it now. So, as you can tell, Beck said she's only here for these 2 for now. But we actually do have a sign-up sheet if anyone watching wants to pick 2. And you don't have to read all of them. Like, you could look ahead and decide which books you want and only read those 2 with us, or just pick 1. Because we want this to be like an interactive book club where someone or multiple people join us each time. If it's just Jackie and I, that'll be just fine as well. But we do have a sign-up sheet, and Jackie should have it linked down below, or will.
Yep.
Where you can see the months and which books we're reading for each month. If you want to scout out and see if any of them do interest you, or there's some authors that you know and you want to be a part of it. But as you can see, this will be a pretty low-key book club. Nothing to worry about. Like, literally, I was sitting here doing this the whole time. We're just chatting with our friends. It's book club.
It's
no
pretty chill.
But if you're interested in joining for any of them, check that out. And yeah, the next live show will be the 25th.
Yeah, I think that was the date we picked. Let me double check.
So Comfort and Delicate. Is that what
Yep.
it is?
It'll be Comfort by Megan Matthews and Delectable by Emily Robertson. And if Delectable has nothing
What are
to do
the
with food, I'm
tropes for
going to be
those?
pissed. The star ratings for those, let's see.
No, what were the tropes for them?
Oh, the tropes. Let me bring up that sheet.
Yeah. Because I will always have it in our Instagram posts too. Yeah. I made graphics that will always have the tropes on it. So.
Here we go. So the tropes for comfort are, from what we can glean from, the back of the book and synopsis. Second chance, romantic suspense, rom-com. What was that?
Nothing. You just blipped out, but we.
Oh, sorry.
You're fine.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And then Delectable is single dad, forced proximity.
Oh, yep. I like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna state right now, if Delectable has nothing to do with food, I'm gonna be very, very upset. Because if you give me a title that says Delectable, that is an adjective for food. I want some food references.
I mean, there are other things that can be eaten besides food. So.
Yeah, I know, but I still want some damn food.
I mean, I'm sure they will eat at some point, but
I hope so, because
I don't think it said either of them was a chef though, so it might just be regular food.
It might just.
Let's hope they can cook it.
Right.
Yeah, let's hope they can crack an egg.
I love it.
So, any final thoughts? Because we're at an hour and 21 minutes now. Anything else you want to say to the people? Anything?
Oh, damn, we've been talking that long.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I mean, I'm glad we got.
Well, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Yeah. Thanks for coming to our first
if
one.
If I don't read the books, if you want me to come on and chit chat with you, I'm always up for that. I don't have a lot of friends outside of my life. So.
We can have 6 people on these. So I didn't finish either book, and I was here. You can come back anytime.
So you just count me in for any of them, even if I don't read the books.
There you go.
Sounds great.
You're the commentary on the synopsis. Be like, I thought that synopsis sucked.
Right.
There we go. I will read the synopsis, and I will even read some reviews. How's that? Even if I don't.
There you go.
Book.
That's what you can do. Is
you'll be the review person. Yeah. So, well, thank you guys for joining us today. We're gonna sign off, and I will see you guys all soon with another live show. And one more time for everybody that may come in afterwards, just introduce yourself and your channel. So this is your plug for your channel spot. So Becky, go ahead.
I'm Becky at Bex Reads. My channel's really small, and I read a wide variety of books, mainly romance and fantasy. So if you like any of that and you like books you've never heard of, there's my channel. I'd love for you to be there.
Yeah. And I'm Jen from the Book Refuge. So you'll see me around.
And I'm from First Lady Reads. So thank you guys all for joining me, and we will see you guys all on the next big one. Deuces.
All right. Night.